And now we are beginning with bone and chicken wing philosophy class as we move forward here. All right, here we go then. So I just called on Faith. She said she didn't know. Faith, did you add anything after that? Okay, think if you think about it, drop it in the chat because surely there's like at least one food that you're like, ooh, I would never eat that again if I had the opportunity not to eat it again. Sushan, what's the food you would get rid of forever if you could? What? You don't know either? Man, everybody had one in first period. Daniel Orozco, what food would you get rid of if you could get rid of one food that would just be gone forever? Really? Three I don't knows in a row? Come on, guys and girls. Challenge yourself. Don't be feeble minded. Think of something. Abby, what food would you get rid of? Abby, can you hear me? Okay, don't know, don't know. A double don't know. All right. Tia, what food would you get rid of if you could get rid of any food? Peas. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, we got something that we could talk about. Peas. Why would you get rid of peas? They're just too small. They roll all over the plate. They get mixed up in the other foods, things like that. They're gross. Nathan, what food would you get rid of if you could get rid of any food? Is Nathan not here yet? All right. Anaya, how about you? What's a food you'd get rid of if you could get rid of any food? Probably seafood. What do you not like about seafood? Why would you get rid of that? Jaden, you're next. What food would you get rid of if you get rid of any food? Tastes gross to me, and I don't like the way it smells. Broccoli. Oh yeah. Now you guys are coming up with some good ones that I think you're probably getting a lot of agreement from people. Christian, how about you? What food would you get rid of, sir? And while Christian is dropping his response in the chat, Daniela, you're next. What would you get rid of? Christian doesn't know just yet. And I guess some of us are people that just like every food, I guess. So I kind of get that. Okay, that makes sense, Faith. That makes sense because, if you're a vegetarian, get rid of meat. I like that. See, now you're thinking about it. Daniela, did you ever drop something in there? Are you there? Sardines, says Louisa. Now, you know what? I like sardines now. When I was a kid, I certainly did not. I remember my dad eating them on fishing trips. We'd be out in the boat, out in the little inlet of sea, and he'd be go, here, have some sardines. Like, oh my God, no. And it took me a while. Like he convinced me finally to try one because they're like, well, look, we're out here fishing. You're eating fish. Why would you not eat a sardine? But I get it. Skylar, how about you, sir?
To be fair, I have no idea.
All right, I guess some of us just really like food, and it doesn't matter what it is. So so that's fair. I mean, I get it. Kiana, how about you? The durian fruit. Oh, is that the one that like smells really bad when you like open it up? Is that what that is? And Evelina, you are next. Yeah, the stinky one. That's the one I'm thinking of too. Yeah. Evelina, what food would you get rid of? Nathan, I see you joined us. We are asking you to share what food you would get rid of if you could get rid of any food in the world. It would never come back ever again. Chocolate? What? Really? Chocolate and seafood? The seafood I could sort of understand, but chocolate? Really? You don't like chocolate? Or do you think it's just like it's too like it's too much of like pressure on people because they eat so much of it or something like that? Nathan, just drop that in the chat whenever you think of the food that you would get rid of. Hey, Jeanette. Okay, just doesn't like chocolate. Onions. Oh, okay, good one. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, right. You just first you can't kill it on your breath. Passion, are you with us? Okay. It says she was at the dentist, but it was from this morning, so I don't know. She might have got something painful done. All right, Jinx, go ahead. What would you get rid of? Pineapple, because I'm allergic to it and want people to suffer with me. Okay, and so how many of you love pineapple on pizza? Just do an emoji thumb up for me or something. Because I'm one of those people that I think pineapple on pizza is really strange and weird. I've never gotten used to that. All right, Paola, how about you? What food would you get rid of if you get rid of any food in the world? In and out. Ooh, there was mold on the bread. Oh, really? How does that happen? They're too busy for there to be mold on the bread. I don't get that. They must have done bad rotation. But I could see where that would turn you off. Yeah. And then you had to wait 45 minutes for moldy bread, right? Oh, I'm sorry for that experience. Asia, what food would you get rid of if you get rid of any food in the world? Asia,
Subway and tomatoes.
what kind of tomatoes?
Subway and tomatoes.
Oh, Subway? Subway and tomatoes. Not just Subway tomatoes, but Subway. And then a whole new category, tomatoes. Just get rid of them. A lot of people don't like tomatoes because they're that weird, like gelatin inside, right? Is that what it is? The thing the seeds are in, and it's kind of weird. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are turned off by that. Now, personally, I love tomatoes. You know what I really like is I like fried green tomatoes because I'm from the South and that's what we do. And Louisa, did you say something already? I couldn't remember if you said sardines, right?
I
Okay.
think everybody can agree with me on this one. Stuffing is disgusting. I would get rid of it.
Stuffing is disgusting. I don't know. I kind of like stuff. In fact, well, I remember downstairs we did like a Thanksgiving favorite side dish and stuffing. Well, in all fairness, I think I'm the only one that said it. Okay, never mind. You're right. Does everybody agree stuffing can like go? Nathan, I never got yours. What did you say, sir? All right. Nathan must be one of those people who also just likes food so much he can't think of one. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's good to see everybody. And as I said, I am recording this so that we can throw it up on the YouTube channel later. So I'm going to ask that you go and subscribe and like the channel if you didn't already do so on Friday when you were looking at how to solve your logic grid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a Pear Deck link into the chat so we can all get on there. And we're going to talk about something that has, like, you wouldn't understand, I guess, until you talk about it or think about it, how influential this is on everything in the world. History, the way we act, the way we treat one another, all of it, right? And it's belief. So let me get this Pear Deck going. And I'm aware I'm not sharing. I'm just getting the Pear Deck first, and then I will drop that in the chat, and then I'll start to share my screen. Here we go. All right. So grabbing that link right now. Here it comes. It's buffering. It's loading. It's giving it to me, but not right away. It's taking its sweet time. It's launching the presentation. It's buffering. It's loading. It's showing. It put up a different screen. It's loading. And it's starting to get there. It's almost there. It is. All right. Man, it really had to kind of prod and help Pear Deck out today. It was really crazy. It just really took a second. All right, here we go. Going into the chat. What? You'd get rid of hot dogs, Evelina? Evelina, you know what? You are like a health nutritionalist dream because you would get rid of chocolate and you get rid of hot dogs. The seafood they probably wouldn't agree with you on because it's probably pretty good for you. But all that other stuff, yeah. And I can understand hot dogs. The idea of how they make hot dogs, it's kind of gross when you think about it. But I'm not going to get into that because you might love hot dogs, and I don't want to, you know, you know, put water in the ship there and sink you or anything. Anyways, I'm just picky, says Evelyn. Okay, good, good. Anyways, one more time. There's the Pear Deck. Let's go ahead and follow that. We have, it looks like 18 people in class, so I'm looking for 18 in the Pear Deck, please. And 4 people are there already. Good, good. And so if you need the code for some reason, it's BRJZPU. Broke raisins joyfully zip purple umbrellas. Now I can see this in 2 ways. If I'm looking at this, it almost looks like a terrorist kind of thing, right? Broke raisins joyfully zip purple umbrellas. Like they are trying to take the purple umbrellas down, so they zip them up and they can't like unfold or anything. And so, the umbrellas are like, we can't protect anyone from rain because we're all zipped up. And the broke raisins like, ha ha ha, umbrellas. What do you think of that? That's kind of where I'm going with it. But I'm wondering about this part right here. The broke raisins, are they broke because they don't have money? Or are they broke because they've been broken down to think a certain way, right? And that reminded me, I'm not sharing my screen, so let me do that right now. And anyways, back to the scenario real quick, because I get into this. If they're broke because of the fact that people are breaking them down like mentally, and to me, it's like an indoctrination, and it's like they're becoming like terrorist raisins to attack these umbrellas because the umbrella nation doesn't appreciate raisins, and they don't let them have their freedoms and their rights, so they're zipping them up so they can hold them hostage and get demands. However, it could also be that they don't have money, and so they're actually robbing them, and that's why they're zipping them up. So it could be that too. All right, let's go ahead and start the class because I'm starting to get carried away again. Reason and logic with the keep calm and cool little logo thing there. How belief and reason influence one another. And so this is really a huge idea, but we're going to do something before that. Before we get into that, we're going to talk about our learning targets for deductive reasoning. And so students will learn terminology associated with reason and logic, and you will also implement different styles of reasoning associated with different components of problem solving and critical analysis. Mainly speaking, we're going to use deductive reasoning to solve this week's logic grid. Okay, so don't worry about this right now. We're going to come back to this question in a minute. So what I'd like to do right now is take you into the Google Classroom. And let's go into the classwork section, please. And under the week February 8th, which is today, so remember the Monday is that data on the Monday is what makes it the week of February 8th. We have Logic Grid 4 right up here at the top. If you would, please go ahead and follow that and open that document up. And if it's not letting you do it by Cami, you have to kind of do it like this, it turns out. You have to go back in there and look under View Assignment. And it doesn't do this for me because I'm the teacher, but for you, it should have like this little block like over here. And it'll show like the picture of the assignment, and it'll show like the little tab where you turn it in on the bottom of that. Click the document through there, and then you should be able to open it up with Cami. If you're not able to open it up with Cami by doing so, let me know real quick so I can help you troubleshoot. All right, everybody there, if I could get some thumbs up on the emojis, or just drop in the deck, got it, or drop in the chat, got it, and or drop in the chat that you are not getting it, so I know where we're at. But just not dropping anything in the chat doesn't let me know one thing or the other. So there we go. Thank you, Kiana. Thank you, Anaya. Thank you, Tia. It's being slow though, you say. Okay, so it's buffering. Abby's got it. Anyone who does not have it at this point. Okay, Louisa. Is it kind of opening slow for everybody? Is that why it's taking a little bit for people to pour in here? Okay, thanks, Louisa. Anaya says hers is fine. Okay. Let me just give it a few more seconds there then. Just make sure everybody's in there. So anyways, when you get in there, and it's kind of buffering for me too, a little bit slowly. But anyways, just remember that, the first thing you want to do is figure out which grid is going to be talking about what. So basically, this is about moving. Okay, it's about these young men who are moving into their college dorms, I think, and you have to figure out what type of vehicle each person is driving, what color each person is driving, and what color matches to each vehicle down here in the bottom left down here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in those groups real quick. And I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to kind of work on it. And then I'll be dropping up in the groups to make sure that you're on the right track and help you out if anything's kind of confusing you or anything like that. Paula says slow. Is it open for you now, Paula, or is it still going? Still buffering, I mean. All right, so anyways, what I'm looking for when you're in the group, remember, I want somebody to be sharing their screen so that right here in the middle of the screen, like right here, that somebody has that the logic grid up, and that you guys are all just kind of communicating on how you would answer each of the clues and what you would eliminate and what you would confirm is valid, okay? And then if it's up on the screen, I can see what you're doing. I can tell you if you're on the right track or if there's something that you might need a little bit different thinking about. All right, so I'm starting the timer now, and when that goes off, I'll bring everybody back. But right now, let's create the groups. Check this to make sure there's not anyone in a room by themselves. All right, looks good. So here we go. When you see that link come up, for me right now, it's at the top, but if you're on a Chromebook, it's most likely the middle of the screen. Follow that link, and I'll see you in the room in a minute. Aisha, did you see I had the link there for you to join a group? Skylar, you going to join the group today? Nathan, you headed over? Christian, you headed over yet? Daniela, you headed over yet? Sushan, with your crazy penguin there, are you headed over yet? How's everybody right now? All right, good. All right. So everybody in this group, I feel like has a pretty strong grasp on this stuff right now. So is there anybody that I need to explain to what we're doing, or is there anyone that would volunteer to share their screen just so you could all look at the grid at the same time? Is there anyone who cannot share their screen for some reason right now? All right, so Asianettes have an issue. Anaya, Abby, or Tia, do you mind? And then I'll come back in a minute and see what you got going on after you guys are getting into it. Okay. Hello, how's everybody? Well, technically, your brain never was a solid. I mean, it's kind of squishy and gushy and all that stuff, anyways. Tis juice now. Can any of you anyone mind sharing their screen so we can look at the grid at the same time? And then that way, if you're doing the clues at the same time, I can kind of give you some feedback and point you in the right direction if something's not right. And while y'all decide on who's going to do that, I'll be right back. I'm going to go into one of the other groups, just make sure everybody else is on the right page too. Hey everybody, how's it going over here? So one thing I was looking for is that somebody maybe would share their screen so that we would all have something to look at the same time while we're doing the logic grid clues there. Is there anyone who would be willing to do that, please? Hmm. Still struggling? So you're still having that download issue, Paula? Or that buffering issue, I mean? Okay. Christian, do you think you could just share your screen so that we could kind of get going there? And I'll be back in a moment. Let me just drop in another group real quick and make sure they're on the right track. Has anyone tried sharing their screen over here yet by any chance? That's okay. Let's just because we'll look at it at the same time. If somebody could just share their screen, then we can look at the clues at the same time, and then we can kind of like figure out what we have to eliminate and what we can validate. But that way, if I see where you're at, I can kind of give you feedback on whether you're doing the right thing or not. Okay. So yeah, it's not expected to be right the first time. I mean, understand that. What I want you to do is just try and get through it, try and reason through it, and then I'm going to tell you the things that you should be eliminating, should be connecting. But I can't. I can't. It's hard for me to do that if I can't see what you're doing, though. So if somebody could just share that and get started, I'll be back in a moment. Okay. Hey, let me show you something in just 1 second.
When are progress reports due?
Wednesday. Hey, check this out. Hey guys, what's going on? Anyone got a screen to share with me yet? So let me just show you someone's profile pic real here because it's not something that I've seen before on their profile pic. And so I sent an email, but I haven't heard a response yet. Yeah, here we go.
Let me know. Okay, thanks.
So, anyways, just show you real quick, and I'm on mute so nobody sees. Here, just I sent this just to see if I could get a response.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. What's going on, Gene? Were you coming back this way to ask something? It seems like we're having a rough time of it today. Are you on your Chromebook or PC or what? Okay. Yeah, just gotta keep trying, I guess. It seems like the fifth period are the days that I always have this issue. Even though it's the same time of day, I don't really have it as much as sixth period. So it's like the even number days don't have it as much for some reason. I don't know what that is. Let me move my picture up here so I can see what you got there, Kiana. So you got Rick didn't drive the trailer or the pickup truck. So yeah, you saw that those are. Oh wait a minute, Rick drives either. Yeah, and so you saw it has to be either the trailer or the station wagon. So you eliminate the other two. Perfect. And then neither of those two vehicles is black. So what? One thing you missed there, you got Rick's vehicle isn't green, but the black part, it doesn't necessarily say that Rick's vehicle isn't black there. What you're saying isn't black is the pickup truck or the moving van that you already eliminated. So if you go to that bottom left grid, you should eliminate black underneath pickup truck and moving van on the bottom left grid. You see how we got to that one? except it not station wagon. The oh wait, it is station wagon. No, wait, no. Rick drives either the trailer or the station wagon. So yeah, trailer and station wagon. Yeah, you're doing it right. Sorry about that. Yeah, eliminate those. Good. There you go. Then Roy followed the moving van, and all that tells you is that Roy, if he's following the moving van, can he be driving the moving van? No, because you can't follow the vehicle you're driving in. So yeah, you eliminate it. Good. But got lost anyway. That's just a distractor. Neither of these two were in a black vehicle. So that means Roy doesn't have black, and you already eliminated that. Good. And then the other thing that you eliminate is that moving van cannot be black on the bottom left. And boom, that tells you what? The pickup truck is what? It's the black one. So then you go and make that one green or purple. Nope. The pickup truck. What I mean is you make it green with the green delta. I'm sorry. So there you go. And then everything else in that column is red. Good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody back because it's been 15 minutes, but you have a good start there. So make sure everybody that you're on the same page as what Kiana has, and I'm going to start bringing everybody back. Now, Nathan, were you sharing a second ago, but kind of got through it? Is that what I'm understanding? Because I thought I saw a screen up here the last time I dropped in. All right, everybody, I think I'm just going to bring everybody on back to the main room once you go and come back. Hey, everybody, let's go and go on back to the main room now. Hey, why don't y'all come back to the main room now? Hey, why don't you come on back to the main chat room now? All right, everybody. So let's just have some true honesty here and just, if you could, please just tell me what's going on. I only saw one group actually have the grid up and actually doing it. Is it because we just don't know what we're doing, or is it because Wi-Fi is acting up? Maybe just drop in the chat real quick. What was keeping us from getting to where we needed to be on that one? Because if it was just that it was a little hard to understand, I'll take a minute and get a start. Don't know what we're doing mostly. How many people is it that it's just like a understanding thing? So I got half and half right now. I got half Wi-Fi, I got half not knowing. Would it be beneficial then if I went through the grid in front of everybody and just talked through the reasoning and like that way, whether it was because of Wi-Fi or because you just don't quite understand what we're doing yet, and that's okay if you don't. It's only the fourth time we've done this, and we've only done it once together, really, in front of the class, right? Would you like me to do that? Okay, I got one yes. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm starting to see some more yeses in it. I haven't seen any no's. Let me go and bring up the grid on my screen then, okay? Give me just 1 second. And I haven't heard more. No, don't do that. I understand it perfectly. You're wasting my time. None of that, right? There's none of that going on. Why would you do that, Mize? I already know what I'm doing. I hate when you like show us what to do. All right, so I'm bringing up a grid over here for that I can actually get into. Give me 1 second. And then I will share my screen and we'll get that going. Okay, so one thing about this grid is it is a little confusing because they're trying to give you a different style of it now compared to what we have already done. And for those of you who are having Wi-Fi issues, even here at the school, you might not be able to see it right now because I'm not sharing my screen, but even I'm having a little issue with the buffering and how fast things are loading right now. All right, here we go. All right, now let me come back and share, and we can talk about this together a little bit, okay? All right, here we go. So let me go ahead and go in there. Moving day, open with Cami. And I'll spend just a few minutes here because we do have to like get one other thing done real quick and go a little bit further into the peer deck. But let me take a few minutes just to get you guys on the right track and just cover one more time the kind of thinking that needs to be going with your deductive reasoning, what you're eliminating, what you're confirming, and how you're doing it, okay? So sometimes there is a clue in the beginning, so I'll look for that. And so I'll read the scenario, and then I'll talk once again about what I do down here, and then we'll get going, okay? So right now, we're up here. That's not what I meant to do. Get off there. All right. It's moving day. 4 best friends who have been friends since junior high school, which is like 8th grade, have just finished college and are moving to a new bachelor pad together. From the clues given, can you figure out who's driving which vehicle, each of which is a different color? Well, you bet you can using deductive reasoning. So one more time as we get started, and I'll go slowly when I go to clues so that you guys can catch your puzzle up too, okay? So I'm aware that you are having to go back and forth between tabs. All right, so the first thing I do, I want to go over here and I want to make sure I know what this is. So what this is, it's basically people who, it's the names of the young men and the type of vehicle they're driving. When I'm in this one over here, oops, that's not what I meant to do. That's going to be the color of the vehicle driving, and it'll tell you that as opposed to like which person's driving which color. And then down here in the bottom one, right down here, that's going to be the vehicle and the color of the vehicle, if it gives you a clue about that. So really quickly, what these clues are doing is they're trying to tell you to eliminate stuff, even though it's telling you positive things. So for example, Rick drives either the trailer or the station wagon. So we know he's either the trailer or the station wagon. So if he's the trailer or the station wagon, what does that mean? It means he cannot be in the pickup truck and he cannot be in the moving van. So I eliminate those. Neither of these two vehicles is black. It's not talking about Rick's vehicle being black. It's talking about the pickup or the moving van and not the station wagon or the trailer. Or I'm sorry, that's what I was doing wrong. It's actually the trailer or the station wagon. So even though these two are eliminated here, it's not going to be those that are black. It's going to be the station wagon is either black, is not black, nor is the trailer black. Okay. Roy followed the moving van, but got lost anyway. Don't pay attention to got lost anyway. He's following the moving van, which means if he's following the moving van, he cannot be driving the moving van. So we eliminate it. Neither of these two were in a black vehicle. So Roy was not in a black vehicle, nor was the moving van a black vehicle. And boom, when I do that, I have my first confirmation, my first valid. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go ahead, and now I've found out that the pickup truck is black. And then remember, it can only happen one time in each of the categories, whether it's a row going this way. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Or if it's in the column going up and down. So going that way. So that means I need to go in there, and first I need to re-put that green one there. And then I'm going to eliminate, because if the pickup's black, it cannot be red, it cannot be blue, it cannot be green. Everybody good so far? So I will pause for just a moment so you can catch up your grid, knowing that you have to go back and forth between tabs, unless you have your split screen going, and then you can go at the same time. Okay, now number 3 is very wordy, but what it's telling you is actually mostly elimination stuff. And so we're going to eliminate. Ryan and the guy who drove the trailer actually know each other from junior high, before junior high. Okay, all of that, you don't need to know any of this stuff once you get past this right here. Ryan and the guy who drove the trailer, boom, that's it. Ryan then, and the guy who drove the trailer, that means Ryan does not drive the trailer, because he knows the guy driving the trailer, so he's not in the trailer. Make sense? And then Rick and the guy in the red vehicle only met for the first time in 7th grade. All you really need to focus on is Rick and the guy in the red vehicle. So if they're talking about Rick and the guy in the red vehicle, it means Rick is not in the red vehicle. So we eliminate it. And then clue number 4, Roger drove the moving van, which is not green. So the moving van we know is not green, so we'll go ahead and eliminate that. And we know that Roger drove it. Which means we eliminate Ryan, and we eliminate Roger from the pickup, from the station wagon, and from the trailer. So is everybody starting to get a feel again of remembering how to do that? Is that starting to fall into order now and make sense a little bit for you? All right, and some of you are going ahead and doing the Pear Deck for the next slide, which is good because that's where we're going now. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave this on hold for a little bit. I'll leave it up for about 10 or 15 more seconds so you can transfer over what we just discussed together. But now I'm going to go back into the Pear Deck. And so one thing I want to do is if there's somebody who joined since I joined, drop the Pear Deck link. Let me put that in the chat again. Go ahead and follow that if you're not in that Pear Deck already. And now that we put our mind on it again, Ben, a little bit, let's see if you can't go ahead and answer this question a little bit now. Based on your experience so far, how would you describe deductive reasoning? What might be an example of deductive reasoning? So basically, we're kind of like just saying, what do you think of the logic grid so far? How would you describe the way you use reasoning to solve the logic grid? That's really the main thing you could answer in that. And just to stir the thinking a little bit to show you what people are coming up with. You use your brain a lot. Yes. It's one or more statements. Good. And then it's also like deciding which statements are false or true. I would add to that, Faith. That's actually a very good description. Brain melt, and I don't know if that's how I'd use to describe it. Does it do that? Yes, but I don't know how I would describe deductive reasoning that way. And the main purpose of what we're getting into really isn't to get this description. So I appreciate everybody getting in there so far. But here's a good one. Deductive for me is the ability to clue things together. Yes, using your brain and the clues given or something, and deducing. Okay, good. So yeah, y'all are on the right track. But anyways, we are going to go and move forward into The next slide. Okay, so just it says debrief last week's logic grid. I did these in class before, but when we started doing the mode we have now, I started doing the video. So let me just remind you that if you go into the Google Classroom, and you should have done this on Friday already. If you look in the stream, here's the first of the Bone-In Chicken Wings Solves Logic Grid 3 videos that is already up on YouTube, so you can be a part of that. Make sure you like and subscribe, because we'll see if we can't get the channel going, and then maybe we can all be live streamers on YouTube. Let's give that a try and see what happens. All right, now back into the classwork section. Underneath week of February 8th, we just did Logic Grid 4. We got a good start on that. Now, we're going to go into the reading for the day. Now, I do have the sentence phrase word organizer for you, because we're going to do this on Thursday, not today. Today, we're just going to kind of get some reading out of the way, because the truth is this is a pretty long article, and it's going to take 2 days to read it. So I'm not planning on you taking, reading the whole thing in one time. I don't want you to speed through it. I want you to take your time and be deliberate, which means take your time to think about what you're reading. But you could go ahead and prepare for the sentence phrase word now. So if you want to go ahead and click that and have it open, then you'll be able to copy and paste your sentence phrase word as you find them. But there will be time on Thursday for that too. But if you want to get that out of the way, it's not a bad idea. What I would like you to do right now is go ahead and follow this link into our Actively Learn today. Now look at the instruction real quick. This week's reading will be conducted over 2 days. Don't rush to finish today. There will be time on Wednesday. I'd much rather you read deliberately and grasp what you're reading rather than speed read the entire article and forget what you read about in the first 3/4 of the article, okay? So really, I'll even tell you this, that, even if you don't finish reading, sometimes you still have enough if you've read carefully just on the half of the reading that you've done. Because a lot of times people who speed read and get to the end might know a little bit about this part and this part, but they might not have made those connections and details because they read too fast. They forget it. So let's go ahead and follow the link, please, and now take us into Actively Learn. But before we sign in, go back to the Pear Deck for a moment, because I did want to go over a essential question real quick before we get into that reading. All right, so now that we're switching gears, our learn targets are going back to that philosophical concepts and grasping those critical thinking ideas. And then some new ones are down here, number 3 and number 4. Students will understand how the biological and psychological makeup of our brain influences our thinking. We started doing a little bit with the happiness stuff last week. And you'll also begin to delve into the meaning of ambiguous terms. And I'll talk more about ambiguous in a little bit. But first, here's our essential question for the reading. In your own words, how would you describe belief? And you can think about belief in the way that you just believe something. You can think about it in the way of religion. You can think about opinion. But how would you describe belief in your own words? A lot of people getting something right away. Good. Let that sink in for a few more seconds before I start sharing and before I start bugging people who have not started yet. And at this point, you really should have started something. So if you're one of the 8 people who have not yet started your response, please go ahead and start talking to me. How would you describe belief? Here's some people so far. All right. Faith or an opinion in or of something that has been proved or disproved. Good, good. I think that belief for me is something that you care about, that's important in your own life. I like that. That's good. Because notice that there's that personal end of it in that definition. That's good. That's right. You're actually going to see that in the reading later. Somebody's still kind of putting their thinking around it. In my own words, I don't know if you're about to say might be, giving yourself reason to be alive. Oh, that's a really good one. I like that. what you believe in, simply put. But what is that belief part itself, though? What you think of something or anything. Okay, so like not just like the facts or knowledge of it, but just what you think of it. Okay, and so yeah, there's a lot of there's subjectivity is what that says to me. It's something that can be an opinion or personal thoughts. It can also be related to religious things. Good. I would describe belief as what you really believe in your heart. Okay, but what does that mean to believe it, though? Right? That's what I'm trying to ask you. Is like talk about that. What does that verb mean when we do believe something? But I appreciate the answer. Some type of confidence, interesting. Because if you believe in yourself, that would certainly be talking about confidence. So I can see that. Next person's asking, and I think you have like a good statement here. You trust in your own opinion. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. And somebody else saying something you believe in. Okay, so thank you for sharing, everybody. All right, and so wanting you to start thinking about this because what we're going to look at today is how belief influences people's thinking. Now, is belief not thinking? You might be asking yourself. That would be a good question. I should put that up on the essential question at some point. But really quickly, now that we talked about what belief is, well, where do they come from? You're not born with beliefs. When we're born, we're a clean slate. So where do they come from? And you can think around areas such as religion, urban myths, what we believe is right and wrong, biases, who we trust, the opinions we form. Where does that stuff come from? Let it sink in for a few more seconds before I start bugging people. All right, Evelina, you don't have to for 15 pages, please. Dork. All right, if you're one of the 10 people not responding yet, start thinking about it now and just get something in there for me, please. Where do beliefs come from? Absolutely, your parents, right? I mean, that's one of the first people that the first people that give you thoughts are your parents because you're born and you don't see many other people besides them for quite a while. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe our brains or the sense that we need something to depend on or believe. Oh, I like that a lot, Louisa. That's actually a very philosophical concept there. Because, it's like you almost need to believe in something in order to explain things in your life, is kind of where I think you're saying. I like that. Beliefs are formed when people have given up hope. Ooh. Humans either make them up or believe in something or something to go. Kiana, that's a very strong statement you're coming up with. I like this. Okay, definitely they're passed down from your parents, maybe from family or just your own opinion. Absolutely, some of that. Although you're not born with that opinion, remember, though. It takes a little while to get to it, right? I think belief comes from something and coming up there for Miguel. Parents, absolutely. Grandparents, too. They tell you the boogeyman finna to get you if you misbehave. Okay. And still looking for a few more people to get in there. Okay, and so now we'll go into. Oops, that's backwards. Now we'll go into the actively learn. And don't follow this link. We're going to go and do the one that's in Google Classroom, like I said. So beliefs, why do we have them and where they come from? It's not actually the name of the article. I got that mixed up with another one. It's actually called come on now. Well, I don't know if it's actively loading. I might say it's slowly loading at this point. There we go. It's actually called Beliefs. Why do we have them and how did we get them? All right. And so in this article, they're just going to talk a little bit about the science behind beliefs, about some of the philosophy behind beliefs, and some of how beliefs actually cause us to think the things we do and to choose the things we choose and things of that nature. Okay. And so a couple people have gotten ahead and have already got some reading done. That's good. But there's a poll first. And the poll is asking you, have you ever stopped to wonder why you believe the things you do or where your beliefs come from? And we're about 50-50 there, between always and sometimes. So I'm going to be into reading with you in real time, giving you feedback and grading your answers so that you can request revisions if you need to. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit over 20 minutes. I'm going to say we're going to read till 3:05. Actually, that would be 20 minutes. So we're actually going to read till 3:10. And I don't expect you to actually finish today, okay? If you can get to like number 4 in the questions, you're probably at a good spot to where we need to be, because we'll finish this up on Wednesday. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and start my timer over here. And I'm going to mute my mic. But if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat, unmute your mic and ask, or send me an email. Do I have any questions? And remember, have your sentence phrase word organizer open so that if you come across that really great sentence that you want to talk about, you can copy and paste that over to the organizer now and not have to worry about it next week.
Where did it go?
Oh, you like to leave that there, huh? It's easy to do.
It is.
Mm. All right, everybody. So it just occurred to me I probably should have paused the recording during the reading time because that's going to be pretty boring looking on the on the tube channel there, huh? Anyways, remember we're going to throw that up when we're done with class, so feel free to go up there and like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. And maybe that's how we can finally get everybody actually on YouTube, and they'll go, "Wow, did you see Mr. Rice's fifth period class or the bone and chicken wing class?" Because they are talked about this. All right, everybody, going back into the pear deck, okay? Oh, by the way, don't sweat it if you didn't finish reading. I didn't expect you to. Remember, I said that at the beginning. But what I would have you do real quick before we leave that reading, if you're like somewhere like in the middle here, just go ahead and highlight what you got there, and then just make a note that stopped here 2/8, so that you know where to start when we come back on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Now we're going back into the pear deck. And I want to put you back in the breakout groups for just a moment so we can have a couple discussion questions. So you're not going to answer this one on the pear deck. You're just going to talk about this in your groups. You can use the chat. That's totally fine. But how might our beliefs influence our decision making? How will it help us, in that decision making when we choose between things, when we decide what we're going to do, when we decide what's right or wrong? How do our beliefs influence that? And so let me come back over here and put you into the discussion groups. And real quick before you go, I'm just looking for you to actually be saying things in chat. You don't have to have your screen shared for this one, but just understand the questions are going to be in the pear deck. And I'm going to switch to another one. Well, actually, I'm going to have you discuss this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to bring you back and we're going to do an exit ticket and we're done, okay? So, once again, how might our beliefs influence our decision making? If you forget the question, it's in the pear deck. Just go to your other tab and look at it. Here we go. Opening up the rooms again, and let's go back. Following that link, please. If you're still in the main chat, you're not where you need to be. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Looking for you in the breakout rooms when I get there. Wow, I gotta say that took me a long time to get to this room. I think I'm with UT. I think I'm having like a lot of like load issues right now myself. All right, so anyone care to just start sharing out? What do you think? How do your beliefs influence the way you make decisions? Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, like I said, you didn't have to unmute it. I wasn't looking for that. I understand not everybody has a speaker that's working, and also that you've gotten quite used to typing your responses. How many do you think that or believe? Huh? See what I did there? How many think we might ever go back to actually that kind of thing where you don't type but you just like have to like speak to each other? And then what I'm hoping you do when you see each other's answers in chat, maybe respond to each other and talk about, going a little deeper into that conversation. Like, why do you think that or something like that? Or, I agree because of this, whatever the case may be, whatever comes up. Okay. And I can't stick around to see all of your conversation, which is too bad because we have 4 great minds in here. All right, what are you guys thinking? How do our beliefs influence our decisions? And Nathan, you may recall a couple weeks back you were talking about like some of this belief stuff, and you were talking in specific about parents cramming beliefs down your throats. And I told you to hold that and table it because we're going to be talking about that. Well, that time is now, so we are in that moment. It would be great to hear some of those things that you think about in regard to this. I don't see why anybody would think that anyone shouldn't be free and happy. So I'm just jolly, want to hug and stuff. So yeah, it must be a tough time for you then. You know what I'm saying? It must be tough because you can't hug people. We got to stay all the way apart and all that. That's got to be tough for somebody that has that kind of like um, embracing type of like attitude and just like that the happiness part of it, right? I mean, this COVID stuff really does try and trounce our happiness, but I'm trying to stay positive. I know you are too, Aisha, and I think we're doing pretty good considering. Anybody else got something to throw out there? Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I'm going to visit another room real quick. Get your thoughts out as soon as you can, okay?
Another thing, the belief that my family tries to shove down my throat is that being bisexual is a sin or stuff like that.
That is a hard one. That's a hard one for a lot of older people to let go. I tell you what, it's been around for a long time, and just they can't like let go of that upbringing they had, where that was like really just driven into them. I see that a lot. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Hey, I'm going to go ahead. I just noticed the time. I'm going to go ahead and bring us back, everybody, because it is 3:13. We're going to do an extra ticket, and then we're going to be done. So come on back to the main room, please. But yeah, you know what? Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your vulnerability on that. A lot of people, are sort of afraid to share out on those kinds of things, but that is definitely something that, I feel for people when they have to deal with that. And especially if it like drives like, something like a wedge between family members, because they can't accept somebody for what they are. They say they love you, but they don't because they have that little thing that's in the back of their head, right? So yeah, hopefully you're not having to deal with that, but it sounds like you are, and I'm sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully he follows a little bit of his own practice and does some reflection, and like it leads him to come back because that. Uh huh. Yes. And somehow that's conveniently forgotten, right? It's somehow that's conveniently forgotten. All right, let me turn my mic on here when I get. Come on, man, load, 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 load. All right, so having a great discussion with Aisha here, and we're just talking about how sometimes people's beliefs will get in the way of family relationships sometimes because you may like come out and say something to them, and because of their belief system, they can't accept it. And like I said, we're going to be unpacking these things, moving forward. Now, when we do this, I don't want you to unpack anything you're uncomfortable talking about, but at the same time, it is that place that you can be safe to talk about something like that. But anyways, if you go to your Pear Deck, I've got the exit ticket, and we can definitely like hang out and talk some more about like where this belief stuff's going to take us. But just real quick, here is your exit ticket that you will send me in Gmail, please. So we talked about how beliefs like influence our decision making a little bit, and in group 3 we started talking a little bit about how like sometimes, because a couple people had talked about like earlier how sometimes our parents like cram beliefs down our throats that we don't really want, okay, and that we question, but that makes them not like listen to us. But that's aside. Right now, how do our beliefs shape who we are? And maybe even that is a part of it, though. And so you can think about how you grew up believing one thing and how that made you the person you are, or how it might have even made you resist becoming who somebody else wanted you to become. And so how did that happen with your beliefs, do you think? And it could just be that somebody presented the beliefs to you in such a way that you didn't want to be that person, right? But that's going to be into Gmail, and it is 316. So once you have sent that Gmail to me, you are definitely free to go. But if you wanted to ask a question, if you want to unmute your mic and have a little discussion, because I hate to just leave something on you there and then not have time to talk about it, because that's kind of what it seems like we're doing. We have till 3:30, so I mean, we'll be here. But you can probably see now where we're about to be going in the class. Now that we've like unpacked the beliefs question, And we talked about how it shapes us. Well, we're also going to be talking about how it shapes others and how it keeps others maybe from seeing our point of view sometimes, or how it keeps us from seeing other point of views. We're going to be talking about how really it's the doorway to understanding what's going on all around us sometimes. But all we can do is open the door. It's up to you to decide whether you walk through the door or not. Ooh, that sounded like kind of cool there, didn't it? Oh, it ends, but for people in person, it ends at 3:30. Is my point. But no, yeah, Faith. What I was saying is, once you get that exit ticket in, you're good to go. But if you wanted to hang out, you could, because we'll be here until that time. That's all I'm saying. So technically, yes, but sort of no. Like many other things, the answer is not definite. I see a couple people leaving without getting the exit ticket. Thank you for those. And I'm going to go ahead and close the Pear Deck because I can put this question up, and I'm thinking most people have it. But basically, how do our beliefs shape who we are? That's what you're answering to me in a Gmail, please. Thank you, Christian. Got yours. And I'm going to go ahead and do a dad joke response to what I'm seeing in the chat. Yeah, no, it's coming. You wait. Yes. Woo! I better put that over here so people can see what I'm talking about in YouTube land when we post that. Oh, there it is. Yeah. And you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. Yep. A for you then, Evelina, because remember, people laugh at my dad jokes do get an A in the class for the day. All right, Louisa, bye. And I think I'm going to go ahead and exit off my other camera here because now I'm just on the one screen. Well, here's how you can check. You can look in your Gmail and look under your sent items. And so so in other words, you know where your Gmail is, and you have like inbox, underneath inbox, it'll say sent. Hit that. And thank you, Anaya, I got yours. And if it, Evelina, you don't have to like overplay it. But anyways, yeah, when you hit send, and I'm still presenting, so I can just show you real quick. Let me open up my Gmail and show you. Don't look at all the confidential stuff I have here. I have a lot of people giving me all sorts of deep things all of a sudden. Yeah, I might have to restart this one. It's really lagging on me. I know a couple of you had that. But anyways, see right here where it says inbox? Go right here where it says sent. Oh, and some of you can see right here if you send it or not because I have it right there. But see right here where it says sent, if you hit sent right there, and it looks like I don't see yours, Jinx, so you must not have. But if you go into sent, it'll tell you if you sent it or not. And it will tell you if it's like waiting to be sent because it might be a draft. You know why I'm lagging on this one? Probably is because of the recording, I'm thinking. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this recording, and then I am going to go ahead and post it on my YouTube channel. So go over there and see it if you want to. And Paola, I think that says bye, right? Yeah, okay, there you go. Have a nice day yourself.